Keir Giles works with the Russia and Eurasia program at the UK international relations think tank, Chatham House. He is the author of Russia's War Against All and What It Means for You. Opinions at CNN. CNN. Russia's war against Ukraine will soon enter another winter. And as the seasons progress, debates over U.S. military aid to Ukraine follow their own familiar and predictable cycle. Keir Giles Manira Mustafa the supply of HIMARS rocket cannons, Patriot air defense systems, Abrams tanks, cluster munitions and F-16 fighter jets to Kiev followed the same pattern initially rejected. Washington. Followed by public resistance to months of lobbying Ukrainian officials. Across the West, there are finally hints of a change of opinion and finally confirmation that Ukraine will receive the weapons. The latest equipment on table is the long-range Army tactical missile systems, although long considered a critical enabler for Ukraine's efforts to evacuate Russian occupiers. It is currently in TIPS phase. As with every iteration of this cycle, emotions run high among Ukraine's supporters. No one can say with certainty that giving Ukraine everything it wants in 2023 would enable its armed forces to evacuate the Russian invaders by now. But what is certain is that delay and hesitation cost lives, especially by prolonging the time Russia had to build layers of mines and fortified defensive lines. But while campaigns to give Ukraine high-profile weapons system that was at top shopping list at time were an important component of maintaining public support, they also distracted from flow less flashy and more mundane supplies being distributed to Ukraine. Constant supplies throughout the war, such as ammunition, clothing, vehicles and medical supplies. The paradox here is that United States is by far largest provider of military support to Ukraine by volume, but also receives most criticism for not giving Ukraine exactly what it needs because has most to give. Public criticism centers around the United States' perceived excessive concern about triggering Russia's escalation, and they are right. But the biggest delay has consistently been the political pause before this process began. Once the political brakes were lifted, coalition partners showed their willingness to act quickly, even on highly ambitious projects such as the procurement of F-16 fighter jets. The United Kingdom, in particular, has consistently led the effort to give Ukraine it wants, while ignoring U.S. concerns about what Ukraine might do with it is given. But in the meantime, the language of Russia red lines still appears to be driving U.S. policy. There is an extraordinarily stubborn notion among some Western policymakers that the United States has no influence, initiative, or agency and can instead become a party to this conflict only on Russia's terms. This led persistent suggestions that the United States was reluctant to ensure a convincing victory for Ukraine due a tacit or explicit AGR,